Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, taking a look at your tropical update for August 2nd of 2019. Brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Things are calming down, sort of, out in the tropics, which is good news. Okay, where are we looking this time of the year? Well, just off the coast of the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, into the Gulf of Mexico, like always, out into the Caribbean, and then into the open Atlantic. By the time we get toward September, then we really open things up. Peak of hurricane season about September 10th every year. Temperatures right now, water temperatures into the Gulf of Mexico hanging out in the upper 80s, mid 80s out into the open Atlantic a little further off to the north. The kind of like low 80s in the Caribbean right now, they're actually running below average because they've had a lot of thunderstorm activity about the last 3 to 4 weeks out there. That has eased back, as we'll see on the satellite here in a second, so I wouldn't be surprised in the coming weeks if they really start warming things up down there. So into the Gulf of Mexico we go, and it's nice and quiet in the Gulf. We'll take it. Upper level low is out here spinning around, but upper level lows don't bother us in the tropics. We're okay with those. In fact, I kind of prefer that because then that kind of bumps up the shear and you end up kind of eating tropical systems that are out there. Down in the Caribbean, I was mentioning there were showers and thunderstorms last couple of weeks kind of hugging the northern coast of South America. Now, not so much. So the Caribbean is nice and clear, so we're going to be warming up the water temperatures as we head through the next couple of weeks. We're still watching Invest 96L out here, but look at these numbers, now down to a 20 to 40% chance of development as we head through the next 2 to 5 days. This thing's getting eaten up by a Kelvin wave, a little bit of shear, and some dry Saharan air. So good news there. This is anticipated to kind of drift off to the north-northwest. We'll talk more about Invest 96L here in a hot second. The wave that was back in behind it, as anticipated, just got eaten alive by the same Kelvin wave and the dry air. There's another wave that's back in behind that that's actually just coming off the coast, and then another one back in behind that, and another one back in behind that. It's just that time of the year where we're talking about waves coming off the coast of Africa. On the other side of the world, we've got Eric out here. Well, what's left of Eric out here. Wind at 50 miles an hour, gusting to 65, now 250 miles off to the southwest of Hilo, Hawaii. This is going to be moving off kind of west-northwest as well. Then back in behind that, we got Flausi, 70 mile an hour wind, gusting to 85. This one's going to actually head toward the Big Island, but then kind of curlicue and go off to the north. You can kind of see here the Big Island down there. It's going to kind of curve off to the north and miss just to the north. So Eric misses to the south, Flossie misses to the north, and everything is looking good in paradise. All right, back to Invest 96L. I wanted to point something out in here, and this just makes me chuckle. Here's our spaghetti models. We use these to figure out where these systems are going to go. The computer models usually do a pretty decent job on track. However, they don't do a very accurate job predicting where something is going if they don't know where it is right now. I mean, that goes with everything, right? I mean, if you've got a group of kindergartners in a room, if you don't know where any of them are, you don't know where any of them are going. And these models, some of them think it's down here, others think it's back over here. Some of them think it's all the way up here. We can set this thing into motion, and you can see a lot of them take it through the Greater and Lesser Antilles, just off to the south of Antigua and off to the, well, kind of right around Barbados. But I kind of take all of this with a grain of salt because, well, it doesn't know where it is to begin with. How does it know where it's actually going to go? All right, so let's head over to the 700 millibar moisture 850 vorticity map. This may paint a slightly better picture. You can see all the dry air in the mid-levels out here. Just off to the north of Invest 96L, and it's eating it a little bit. Notice how it rides just off to the south of the dry air, just off to the south, and kind of glides just north of the Greater and Lesser Antilles, just north of Puerto Rico, according to this one model. Then the wave that's back in behind it actually slides into the Caribbean. Both of them fall apart. And then back in behind it, a whole mess of more dry air builds in as we head through about the 10th, roughly, of August, which is good news. That should cut off anything else that wants to develop out there and should help all the waves that are coming off the coast of Africa to kind of fall apart once they get out into the open Atlantic. So there's a look at your tropical update for August 2nd of 2019, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Thank goodness, at least as of right now, things calming down in the tropics. just the way we like it, though we will continue to monitor Invest 96L as it drifts west-northwest and toward the Caribbean.